Steel City. Is everybody ready to go? Let's proclaim the greatest radio show.
Good evening, fans. I'm your host, Jim Sella, in studio with J-Dash and JK47. I want to thank you for tuning into The Spread. We got our extra bases segment for you today. We're going to talk about the Houston Astros. Can they hold that division lead? The Astros were a team not expected to do a whole lot coming into the season this year, so it's a big surprise with how well they're playing. What's their record so far this year, Dash?
34-21.
Beast mode, better than your Buccos.
19-13 at home, 15-8 on the road. They got a 5.5 game lead in the division, a plus 28 run differential, which is third best in the AL.
What do you think, 47?
I like his team right now. I like the pitching. The hitting could be a little bit more consistent for him. As you can see, Chris Carter, 75 strikeouts and 180 at-bats. We'll get to more of that in a little bit.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
But, just small inconsistencies like that. Lots of guys striking out, but a lot of guys also getting some timely offense also.
Yeah, that's what it is with the offense, is timely offense. If you look, Altuve's hitting .295, so he's a good hitter. 5 home runs, actually, up from earlier in his career. It looks like he added a tiny bit of power. 26 RBIs, 25 runs, already 16 stolen bases. No surprise there. But outside of him, Preston Tucker is hitting .292, but he's only had 72 at-bats. This is a guy that was called up earlier this year to replace George Springer when he got injured. He was a guy that was leading the minors in home runs when he got called up. He's only had 2 so far in 72 at-bats, though. But besides those 2, nobody's really hitting the ball well in terms of average.
Well, look at the. I just mentioned Chris Carter. 206, 10 home runs. Luis Valbuena, 193 average, 12 home runs.
Yep.
Evan Gattis, he was in a funk to begin the season. He's actually turned it on as of late. He's been a huge boost down the stretch.
You can't tell by his average, but he has been pretty good. Just 234. Look at his on base, 266. But he did hit those 12 jacks, and look, 36 RBIs right now. That's beast mode.
So, he's definitely driving in runs and getting some timely hits.
George Springer, too, just 227, 60 Ks and 176 at-bats. But he hit 8 home runs, stole 11 bases, and scored 26 times. So they're scoring a lot of runs. You're right, they're striking out a ton. And there is a lot of stuff with this offense where they have help on the way, especially in Carlos Correa. Their shortstop position is probably the weakest position offensively for them. They have Marwin Gonzalez and Jonathan Villar splitting time there right now. And if you remember, Jed Lowry actually got hurt earlier this year. He's on a 60-day DL. He got off to a hot start, hitting 300 with a 342 on base, 4 jacks in 60 at-bats. So it would be nice to get Lowry back, but really Carlos Correa is the future shortstop, and he crushed Double-A already this season. They moved him up to Triple-A. They just need to bring this guy up. Then you got one of the best second basemen and one of the best shortstops in baseball.
But as far as anybody challenging these guys, though, I don't think it's going to happen this year. I don't think Anaheim has the pitching to keep up with them. Plus, their offense is really inconsistent. Seattle, no, they were my original pick to go to the World Series from the AL. Their pitching is going to be there, but their offense has just been awful this year.
I don't know if I trust their pitching either. First of all, James Paxton went on a DL, so that hurts for them. Tawan Walker actually pitched well in his last start, but he's been really bad at times this season, so he got to become more consistent. Outside of Hernandez, I don't really trust the Mariners pitching staff. You definitely don't trust the Rangers pitching staff. Now, they're hitting the ball well, but without you, Darvish, this pitching staff isn't going to do much. And then you got the Angels. Yes, I don't trust their pitching staff either, although Jared Weaver is pitching a little bit better recently, and you got Garrett Richards still, but no, I don't trust their pitching staff. In the A's, outside of Sonny Gray, and Jesse Hahn turned it on a little bit recently, but I don't trust their pitching staff either, and really, there's nothing about the A's that makes me think they'll make a comeback.
They've been playing well lately, though.
Yeah, they have been playing, actually, they've probably been playing the best in this division recently outside of Houston, but I still don't believe in them at all. But, this Houston team, their pitching staff looks really good, like you were saying. Dallas Keuchel is an ace, and that's the first thing you want to start with a good team, is have an ace on your staff, and they have that in him. He has a 1.85 ERA through 12 starts this season. They called up Lance McCullers. He's only made 4 starts so far, but he's been a beast, a 1.88 ERA so far. Went a complete game against Baltimore on Wednesday with 4 hits, 1 earned run, no walks, and 11 Ks, so he looks really good. I believe he's more of a number 3 starter, though, and Colin McHugh is a number 4. He's sitting at 4.33 right now, his ERA. I see him as a number 4, and I want them to call up that Vincent Velasquez to be their number 2 starter. Eventually, he's not going to come up and just be the number 2 starter for him. But anybody who doesn't know Vincent Velasquez should go check out our prospect check segment. We talk about him and Kyle Schwarber from the Chicago Cubs. I think Velasquez is the real deal, and he's going to be a huge part of this rotation going forward. And I believe they'll bring him up sometime soon. And they have Josh Hader and Appel in the minors as well.
Appel as well.
Now, Scott Feldman, he's on a DL. If it doesn't work out where Velasquez can't come up and contribute to this team, you might see Feldman slot back in instead of Roberto Hernandez in the rotation. And then your boy Brett Oberholzer is pitching pretty well. Just 2 starts, but a good start for him as well. So, really, if they can bring up Velasquez, I'm really liking his pitching staff. I think it's pretty deep. And then you look at the bullpen. Gregerson and Qualls have been okay this season, nothing great. Neshek's there, he's been pitching well. Of course, he was pitching well with the Cardinals last season. This guy is a pretty good reliever. And then you look at these guys. Will Harris, an 0.34 ERA, 26.2 innings pitched, 31 Ks, 7 walks. This guy is dominating right now. Josh Fields is dominating through 14 innings pitched, 23 Ks, 5 walks, a 1.29 ERA, and even Tony Sipp is pitching well out of the bullpen for him with a 2.41 ERA. So I think everything looks good with their pitching staff moving forward. It's just a question of their offense, really. It's hard to go through a full season with a bunch of people hitting under 250, and they might have to bring up a Carlos Correa, or if they can't take Valbuena's average anymore, if the power just isn't worth it anymore because nobody else is hitting for average, there's a guy they have in the minors in Colin Moran as well. He's a guy that can hit for a high average. He doesn't show much power, not as much as they hoped he would when he was drafted by the Miami Marlins. He was traded to Houston this past offseason, and I think he's going to be ready very soon. He missed time with a fractured jaw, and he's actually out again right now, but he's very close to the bigs. So if Valbuena doesn't work out in the average department, you could get a little average by bringing Moran up and playing him at third base. Correa, he's a 5-tool player, and there is no reason to have him down in the minors anymore. They need him in this lineup for sure. And then first base, you were mentioning Chris Carter. He Ks a ton, 75 Ks and 180 at-bats. They actually have a prospect in John Singleton in the minors. The only problem is
same problems.
Yeah, he's the same type of player. He's going to hit a bunch of home runs, but he's going to K in more than 40% of his at-bats. So that's not really the answer you're looking for. He could help later in the season maybe when rosters expand. You can get him in the lineup more often, maybe a DH if you put Evan Gattis in the outfield or something for a game. But the guy I really like, and this is a prospect that not many people know about, his name is Tony Kemp. He's actually a second baseman, so he's not going to be playing second base anytime soon for the Houston Astros because they have one of the best in Jose Altuve. So this guy may be moved to the outfield. He's only 5'6", but he can hit around 300 for you. He takes a ton of walks. He walks more than he strikes out, actually. He doesn't strike out much at all. And he can steal a ton of bases. He doesn't have too much power. I think 8 is the most he hit in any season in the minors. But he can steal a ton of bases for you. And I believe this guy is the real deal. And they just need to give him some time in the outfield and then bring him up. But really, Houston Astros, they got a big lead right now. Like we said, the pitching in the rest of the division doesn't even compare to the Houston Astros. Now, the Rangers may be hitting a little bit better than the Astros. The Angels might have a couple more big bats like the Pujols and the Mike Trout. But I think the Houston Astros are just the deepest team all around from top to bottom.
Well, right now they are. I mean, and until Anaheim can get a little bit of pitching, because I think their offense will be okay. I mean, they've been inconsistent. I mean, I bet they'd still be more than adequate.
We'll have to see what happens with the Seattle Mariners, too. I mean, Robinson Cano has done nothing this season.
No, he hasn't.
Robinson done no.
But you never know. The All-Star break could come around, and then you could see Cano come out of the All-Star break on fire and just turn into the player he used to be. It's all Nelson Cruz with the Mariners right now, and that's just not enough, especially with all this pitching that Houston has. And I just think they need to bring up Velasquez, bring up Correa, and eventually bring up that Tony Kemp as well. And this team is going to be hard to stop in this division because no one else is really a great team. So, Jim, are they going to win this division, or is somebody going to overtake them?
The Astros, I think, are going to run into the same thing the Buccos did a few years ago, where they were a young team. They come out of the gate hot. They gained a lot of confidence. Some of the younger guys started to slow down, though, as that long grind of 162 games takes over. They may not fall off as hard. The Pirates had like a record-breaking fall at one point. But I don't know. If they do, I don't know if they're going to win the division. They might squeak in for that last wild card spot, though, because they are a good team. But I do see them falling off a little bit.
Whoever takes them.
Well, probably the Angels or the Rangers. Most likely the Angels, though.
Yeah, I would have to go with the Angels if anyone. The Rangers, like I said, their pitching staff is such garbage without Yu Darvish. Now, they're hitting the ball great right now, but it's not going to be enough in this division. The Angels, if Weaver can keep pitching well and Garrett Richards gets back to his elite form that he showed last season, I think they have a chance to overtake Houston at least. Especially when you have the best player in baseball, Mike Trout, and the former best player in Albert Pujols.
Well, the A's got a pitcher who can pitch with both arms, so they may have a shot.
Yeah, you're dead wrong.
He does pitch with both arms, though. That's awesome.
What do you think? 47 you said Houston will remain.
I think they're going to remain in the lead. I've seen nothing from this team to indicate otherwise. They're clutch hitting, great pitching.
What do you think? Do you think the Mariners are the team that has the best chance to overtake them, though?
If they can put it together, then I think that they would have the best chance.
Well, they just traded for Mark Trumbo. They're trying to get some bats in here, and
they're getting some power. They're not getting people that can get on base. If you get on base in front of Cruz.
Yeah, I'm not a Trumbo fan myself. I know you're not either. We mentioned this before.
I like the power. I just don't like everything else he does, which is practically nothing.
Please believe. Now, do you think only one team is going to come out of this division?
Yes, I do.
I'd have to say so, too. The Central is a deep division. Cleveland, I think, is still in fourth place, or maybe they jumped up to third place by now. But I think Cleveland has a chance to make the playoffs. Detroit obviously has a chance. Kansas City has a chance. Minnesota Twins are leading that division right now. So there's 4 teams right there that I think have a chance to make the playoffs. And I think that's the one division that's going to have more than one playoff team, personally.
I'm looking for 3 to get there from the Central.
Me as well. And then one from each other division.
Yep, you'll have the division leaders, and then you'll have the 2 wild cards from the Central.
So think about this. Houston, the Yankees, and the Twins are the 3 leaders right now in their divisions in the American League. Isn't that ridiculous? If the playoffs started today, it would look ridiculous to me. Something we haven't seen in years, if ever, in our lifetimes.
Yankees are beast.
I'd like to look at up. Have the Astros and the Twins both made the playoffs in the same season in the past, 35 years?
I don't know, but I remember when the Astros played the Yankees in the World Series and they spanked them.
Please believe. I think the Astros are a better team than the Yankees right now, though.
Oh, I would have to agree. I mean, well, the thing with the Astros is they have time on their side right now. The Yankees are a little bit older. I mean, I'd like to think they're going to go into somewhat of a rebuilding stage pretty soon.
So how about this question? If Houston is going to make the playoffs, how deep are they going to go in the playoffs? Do they have a chance to actually come out as the American League representative?
I'd have to see who they play first. It depends on what the matchups are.
Yeah, right now, the East, there's no one that scares you in that division. Like I said, the Central is the one team that has the best teams.
Well, the thing is with the Yankees, they're going to be a division leader, so there's no way you're going to face them in the wild card game. But, I mean,
right.
In the one-and-done series, if you'd have to face Tanaka, that'd be a pretty daunting... Or
Pineda.
Yeah, Pineda's been very good this year, too, and Tanaka was good whenever he came back. So we'll have to see what happens.
So no definitive answer from you?
What, as far as...
Are they going to fall short? Are they going to make the American League Championship? I want to put you on the spot and then come back and play this when the World Series goes down and show you were wrong.
So are you a Houston Astros World Series advocate?
Nah, I don't think they're going to make the World Series. I just wanted to see what your opinion was.
No, I don't think it's their time yet, but I think
Nah.
they could be there pretty soon.
I do think they are going to make the playoffs, though, especially if you bring up one of those young pitchers like Velasquez. You already got a couple great top-end pitchers. Your offense, yeah, they ain't hitting for a high average, but they're putting the ball over the fence a ton. They're driving in runs. They're scoring a lot of runs. So, really, that's all you need right now. And if things start to slow down a little bit, you got one of the best prospects in all of baseball in Carlos Correa. Bring him up. That's your weakest position. I think you should do it right now, actually. And then you have a couple other guys here in Singleton, Moran, and Kemp who are all ready for the bigs. So you have more offense on the way, I believe. And this is a deep team, and they are for real.
Well, that wraps it up. Thank you guys for coming in studio. Thank you, fans, for listening. Fans, you can follow us on Twitter at bet_the_spread. You can follow me on Twitter at betjimthewin. Check out the website at thespreadnews.simplesite.com. Like us on Facebook and subscribe to that YouTube channel. Peace.